The Fed basically admitted they want a housing correction. Fed Reserve Chairman Powell is holding his conviction to fight inflation, even if it means a recession. Well, it's here, buddy. Big takeaway, interest rates are up and will likely stay up for a year or more. It is a convoluted housing market right now. However, for detail-oriented investors, there are opportunities out there. So right now, just want to take a look at 10 robust markets that have lost some steam. That's what we want to find. What's losing some steam right now and might present opportunity zone markets in the United States for investors. So we're not gonna get too deep into the weeds. I can't give away all my secrets. If you want the pearls, you got to hire me. Just kidding. So some factors, we consider when looking at markets, what's the why behind the price drops, foreclosure rates, crime in those specific areas, political climate, the local ordinances, for example, take Illinois. I did a talk on foreclosures. Has the highest foreclosure filings, 1 in every 2,000 right now, housing units with a foreclosure filing. There might be some low-hanging fruit. However, a study by the Washington, D.C. financial analyst company Wallet Hub, and this is on record with all the other things that I follow, shows that Illinois has the second worst effective property tax rate of any state in the country. The second highest property taxes in the country are Illinois. And they have serious issues with crime. Yes, I know suburbs are safer in certain areas, sectors. I grew up in Chicago area in the Midwest. I know these areas very well. So certain sectors are safer. Commercial real estate is up big time in certain sectors in Chicago. Investors are buying in Illinois, multifamily, industrial. So we're moving all our real estate out of Chicago area. You have to consider things like, is the state friendly to real estate investors? We're not fans of Illinois' taxes and what they're doing right now. So we're getting the hell out. So we look at a lot of things and dig into the micro. So home prices soared across the U.S. during the pandemic, as we all know, a buying frenzy after 2 years of record-breaking data. The newest report shows a stark change of direction for many major U.S. housing markets. Notably, the cities that led to the pandemic-fueled home buying craziness are increasingly less attractive to home buyers, put off by the high home prices that are now, coupled with the rapidly rising mortgage rates. And that doesn't even count the bidding wars and resulting 5- and 6-figure offers over the asking price when you break down the status. Sellers were making bank. They're crushing, which they needed if they, switched hats to buyer, So fast forward through the past several months of the rising interest rates, and prices nationwide have taken a step back. Investors are a little nervous right now. They're taking a step back, taking the foot off the pedal, but others are licking their chops if they're following this data. So medium home prices are still higher than they were a year ago, but the rising cost of home ownership has taken an obvious toll on the price increases we saw earlier this year. Some cities took a bigger hit than others. I smell opportunities for investors. So we break down west, east, south. The West Coast is slowing down the fastest. The Sunbelt metros in particular are seeing declines in medium home prices as buyer demand cools. But there are advantages to the slowing of unsustainable price growth. So, look at this holistic picture of these 20 cities. For example, we take a look at Seattle in particular is experiencing the most dramatic downturn right now, with home sales down 34% year over year as of August. So some of the 20 markets are experiencing some of the fastest cool off, and this is data that I follow. It's got some of the data off Redfin, other internal sources. Also, the data reflects is based on changes. This is key with the 20 cities year-over-year housing market stats from February 2022 to August 2022. So similar effects are observable in areas, that became popular, pandemic relocation hotspots, noticeably and in the West Coast here, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Phoenix, Arizona, two big ones. These markets consistently made headlines over the last few years as the best cities for professionals migrating from the expensive markets of California. So this year, however, they are experiencing the same issues. Housing markets in these metros became overpriced fast, and there are plenty of indications that buyers no longer see these destinations as attractive alternatives, to the overheated, overpriced coastal markets. And you take Boise, Idaho, that's the highest in the country, up over 31%. It's overinflated the most. But like I said, I had an investor friend take his whole portfolio to Boise, Idaho. Doesn't carry paid cash. He's got cash flow. So take Las Vegas. It's a market near and dear to my heart. Las Vegas, for instance, peaked at 440,000 median home prices this summer, up from 289,000 in February 2020. The median home price has since fallen sharply to about 405,000. The latest data and news coverage swirling around the housing correction has caused a lot of concern amongst real estate investors. I get it, but the astute investors are breaking down the data. There's a lot of fear mongering going out there in the media, but the astute investors know where to look and what's really going on. And, rightfully so. It's a little nerve-wracking going on right now. It's very scary when you look at things globally. So the question is, how should you react to this? Investors, don't worry. I'll ease your heartburn. This is the time to get creative and see the forest through the trees. So there's a lot of metro areas that are interesting. I looked at a lot of different data. 10 metros with I kind of looked at data with the biggest 3-month price drops. If you take Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, you have to look at that data and some other data. With the biggest price drops from June to September. So for most of them, the net year-over-year increase is smaller than the drop in price, over just 3 months. So when I look at my internal spreadsheet data and that I developed over the years, and I'm talking to investors on the ground in these cities, and also taking into account, like I said, the data from, you have to look at this stuff, Redfin, Realtor, Zillow, and many others, and you compare. I think these cities present some of the best opportunity zones in the market right now. Seattle, Washington. No, it's nerve-wracking, but I have a friend up there killing it. Median price is $774,950. They're down 17.7%. Number 2, Las Vegas, 460,000, down 14.5%. Phoenix, Arizona, 455,900, down 14.5%. Austin is at 558,275, down 16.2%. Outside of Austin is a gold zone for me. Example, Round Rock, Texas. That's a great area. Number 5, Orlando, Florida, 391,778. It's down 6.5%. Orlando is also one of the top vacation spots in the U.S. with temperatures rarely falling, under 60 degrees. It's a hot spot. The whole state of Florida is hot, and there's going to be opportunity, especially right now with the hurricane. Number 6, Denver, Colorado, 570,000, minus 12.2%. Number 7, Jacksonville, Florida, 365,000, minus 7%. Jacksonville is actually one of the fastest growing economic areas in the country. With over 1 million residents in the metro area, Jacksonville's growth is attributed to its strong job growth, and employment opportunities continue to steadily increase month over month. A lot of opportunities, I think, in Florida based how they run that state. They're investor friendly. Number 8, Palm Bay, Florida, 379,995. They're down 8.9%. Number 9, San Antonio, Texas. Know this area very well. According to a new report from the U.S. Census Bureau, San Antonio is the nation's 8th fastest growing metro. The state is also experiencing an increase in 6-figure jobs in the San Antonio, New Brunswick metro region. That's a hot area. Number 10, Nashville, Tennessee. Metro area. Nashville has ranked in the top 10 metro areas for job and economic growth over the last few years. It is best known for having jobs in diverse array of industries, from healthcare, of course, to music and tourism to manufacturing. Nashville is currently named the 2nd strongest job market in the nation, right behind Austin, Texas. We are currently not invested in Nashville. I'm working with someone there to really learn about that market more and opportunities. Some honorable mentions. So that's 10. Honorable mention, Ogden, Utah. Ogden is a city north of Salt Lake City in Utah. It's a gateway to ski resorts like Snow Basin, Powder Mountain, and the Noradic Valley. It is down about 8.6%, and median home prices are about 532,500. So I like that area. I like Houston, Texas. I know Houston very well. I used to live there, work there as well. It's even more, I like it than Austin. It's just my opinion, what I'm seeing, the movement there. So what are the reasons behind these price drops? The reasons for these drops in medium home prices, should be obvious by now. Look how much we were up 44%, decline in housing affordability from higher mortgage rates and resulting in spike in monthly payments, of course. Number two, decline in purchasing power from, high inflation, raising the raising general cost of living, of course, which is out of control, ladies and gentlemen, gas, groceries, utilities. Number three, the resulting decline in buyer demand with buyers backing out or priced out of the market. It's less of a seller's market than we saw in the first half of this year, and it's moving toward a more balanced market, which is a good thing. And there's advantages to both sides. So all this doom and gloom, people don't know what the hell they're talking about. Some housing market, I think some housing market takeaways for major metros throughout the U.S. Over the 4-month period, these are some key takeaways ending October 2nd. Just to give you a holistic perspective and break some of this down and ease your heartburn. The median home sales price is $367,652. It's up 7% from a year ago. That's a fact. Median asking price of newly listed homes is $383,000, up 9% from a year ago. Monthly mortgage payments on the median asking price is $2,528 at the current 6.66% rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage, up 49% from the same time last year, which would be, roughly $1,701. Pending home sales down 25% from a year ago, the biggest drop since May 2020. New listings of homes down 18% from a year ago. Active listings down 1% from the prior 4-week period and up 3% from a year ago. Month of supply, and that's calculated by dividing the total number of active listings by the number of closed sales. That rose to, 3.0 months, 3 months, the highest level since July 2020. Median days on market, 32 days. It's up a full roughly week, 8 days from a year ago, 25 days, and up from the record low of 17 days set in May and early June this year. So homes that sold above list price, 31%, down from 45% a year ago, and the lowest since February 2020. We need a little more balance. Remember, keep in mind, we were up 44% over the last couple of years. So homes with a price drop of, 7.7% on average, a record high, and up from 3.9% a year ago. Average sales to list price ratio, 99.1%, down from 100.7% a year earlier and falling to its lowest level since August 2020. So, does it make sense to invest going into 2023, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, absolutely. Industry analysts predict that, higher loan rates will, deter home buyers from participating in a mortgage refinance, but we'll still see an increase in home buying activity overall. Institutional landlords and small flippers are starting to scale back, of course, as higher borrowing costs and slowing sales complicate their strategies, the lower end guys and gals. But there's no denying that with the housing market cooling off, investors, requires a more cautious, creative, calculated approach right now. According to Bloomberg, the first reaction to a market slowdown, we all know this from investors, is to always, it's an instinctive, we're all pulling back right now with landlords canceling contracts and house flippers selling off their stock to clear inventories. So does this have to be you? Not necessarily. One thing to remember about this housing market is that it is not poised to crash. Okay? But instead, correct. Forget all the doom and gloom you're hearing in the news and some of these videos. With the right approach, you can still turn a profit whether you invest in long-term rental properties or short-term rental properties. It's all about location. Location, location, location. In a buyer's market, it becomes necessary to consider, buyer needs and seller perks that will entice buyers who, they may be hesitant given our higher interest rates. Historically, interest rates are still low, ladies and gentlemen. If you flip homes, which is, of course, one of the more challenging strategies in a receding market right now, I'm a buy and holder right now. Seeking out cash buyers is a wise thing to do right now. Accepting lower, offers is the better strategy in a slower market over occurring interest expenses and other carrying costs as listings linger. So you have to keep that in mind. If you're an institutional landlord, then you may choose to hold back on expanding your inventory just now. I get it. It's all about waiting for the right moment right now. And when home prices come down even more, that's pretty standard. That's the way I'm thinking. So one of the guys that I follow, one of many, Mark Zandi, for, Moody Analytics, he talked to Bloomberg and he said, institutional buyers are optimistic. Yes, they are, sir. And I'm sure they're waiting, thinking they're going to get a much better price for these properties in the not so distant future. So while it's easy to run the wait and see strategy going into 2023, there are still plenty of opportunities to find in this housing market. So like I said, you take a company like BlackRock, they set aside $50 billion to get ready for foreclosures. There is a distinct uptick. Those 10 metro cities plus the 2 honorable mentions I mentioned, I'm looking for price drops. I'm following the foreclosure rates in those cities. I'm keeping an eye on the politics and what's going on in the midterms. Who's investor friendly? Who's the tenant friendly state? These are, what are the local ordinances for short-term rentals? What's going on with long-term rentals? In the area that you're looking in, you call property managers, you call the neighbors, you drive the neighborhood. These are things you have to do and you break all the micro down. So Seattle, it's very scary, but like I said, I know a commercial broker that lives there, and then he buys properties on the side, and he's doing very well. So you just have to know the pockets to buy. Because initially, my thought, Seattle, because I had a bad impression of Seattle, what's going on there, and the stuff I've been reading. But when he's sending me data, and I've partnered up with people in different states to learn more about these states, and that's what you should do. So I just wanted to give a top line review of 12 cities and kind of a quick breakdown of what's going on in the market overall. But this is an opportunity. Going into 2023, prepare now, close out the year strong, whatever you're doing, start preparing now. But there's going to be some good buys out there. If you're a real estate professional and you're trying to work with buyers, sellers, you got to have those tough conversations and ease their heartburn. Rates are historically low. Real estate is still a solid investment. People are holding more equity this time around than 2008. There have been some checks and balances, like I said, put in 2008. There are some triggers that you have to be aware of. But it's going to be an interesting 2023. And when I see big companies like BlackRock licking their chops, what's going on? What do they know that I don't? And that's how you have to start with this and start breaking it down. So I think there's going to be some opportunity zones out there. More to come. Take care. Have a great start of your week. It's coming up. I'll be in Ibiza, Spain on a big trip. More to come from there. Take care.